I know a website that's worse than the deep web. Its name is FearDotCom. Hello everyone, this is the Gym of 99 and welcome to another edition of Hellfire Cinema. And today we're going to take a look at a movie that's obscure but deserves to have a mention in this series because of how awful it is. And to save some poor soul who's unfortunate enough to watch it by pure accident, I am talking about the movie simply called FearDotCom. I'm gonna be honest with you people. I'm not exactly a big fan of the horror movie genre in general, and I especially don't think it's gonna get better anytime soon, considering that the majority of horror movies we got are found footage movies that try way too hard to be real when really they're just fake. Now don't get me wrong, there had been great horror movies in the past, but I'm sorry. In my opinion, the horror movie genre is one of the most stale and repetitive genres I have ever seen in my life. Second close to teen movies. Especially the ones that are based in high school. Oh god, the amount of high school movies they make. Now, I'm fully aware that the horror movie genre has a defined amount of subgenres to keep things a little bit more interesting, and there are certainly a couple of subgenres. Like slasher movies, neo-noir slasher movies, suspense slasher movies, psychological slasher movies, torture porn slasher movies, body horror slasher movies. I don't give a fuck what you people say. There's a shitload of slasher movies that I can't even count. But you get the idea. But either way you look at it, they focus on achieving the same thing. To scare people. Through rape, torture, murder, scary metaphors, practically anything. And I commend these people for going all out with the creativity. But at the same time, there's so much you could work with on the horror movie. I say this because the horror movie genre is so stale and so repetitive that the genre itself gets more and more cliche as the years go by, and holy shit does it get worse. I can say that with 100% confidence because look at all your horror movies that you've got in recent years. Oh, and I also pity everyone in the foreign country that makes really good horror movies. Because I guarantee you, some unoriginal hack from Hollywood is going to find it, bastardize it completely with their own versions because he or she is a stupid fucking moron that cares nothing more but money. Sorry guys, but your genre is going through the shit pile. I don't think it's gonna get better anytime soon. The only reason why the genre isn't dead is because of the audience. Now look, I'm not saying that every horror movie fan is like this. But the only people that I can think of that usually watch these kind of movies are either bloodthirsty individuals that love to watch others getting hurt, or people with very miserable lives or no lives, and they usually watch these movies to vent out their anger issues. Yeah, that's right, I said it. I don't give a fuck what you think. Go ahead and whine or rage in the comments. See if I care. Nobody ever talks to me online. Nobody ever gives me an ounce of respect. So tell me, why should I be good when almost everyone that knows me views me as a public enemy of America? Holy shit, I almost lost it there. It was unscripted too. Fuck. But the bottom line is, I have really negative views towards the horror movie genre, and considering how well FearDotCom did back then, you can pretty much tell where this is going. But hey, I'm sure some smart horror movie fan would tell you that this movie sucks and you should avoid it, and I'm sure there is still hope for even idiots with a half a brain to tell that this movie sucks. That's probably a good thing. Okay. I know I've rambled long enough, but it shouldn't matter because the movie that I'm reviewing, I don't have much to say, aside from a small few things. Just a small few. So, with that being said, let me just grab the script, read it before I lose my fucking mind. With that being said, let's move on to the review. So our movie begins with this intro that's supposed to scare us but fails its job miserably, and then we see an old guy walking in a subway in the middle of a dark, cold night. And it must be a pretty bad night too, because everything around him looks like a set to an emo music video. Get used to it, because almost every set in this movie looks like it. As he's walking down the subway, he encounters a little girl playing with her ball in the middle of the tracks. The old guy sees the train coming, and his reaction to the whole thing is, well, this. Insert overplayed Star Wars clip here, if you know which clip I'm referring to. Anyways, the old guy tries to save the little girl's life, but then she disappears out of nowhere, leaving for the old guy to get killed by the train. In about a few seconds. Come on, man. Someone of your age should know the meaning of the word climb, but that's fine because he tucks into the wall avoiding the train's path. Okay, I guess that's safe. But then all of a sudden he does this! Nice move, man. Nice fucking move. After the old guy's embarrassing death, the little girl turns into the spooky ghost monster, scaring the old guy in his final moments of life. That, or she could be making fun of him for being so brain dead. But hey, lesson learned, right? Then we cut to one of our main characters, Terry Houston, who works into the Department of Health. She will play an important role later, so at least that's something. Ooh, the suspense in this movie is so scary. Next, we cut to our main character, Detective Mike Riley, who's investigating the scene of the crime, the part where the old guy died, as we've seen earlier. He notices that his eyes are bleeding, and he comes to the conclusion that the old guy
must have been into computers, this guy, huh?
Or, you know, maybe it could have been some sort of eye disease, maybe someone could have poked him in the eye so hard, or hell, why don't we come to the obvious conclusion that the old guy was simply walking down the street, hungry as fuck, then he saw someone carrying a can of salt, he wants a piece of it, but accidentally threw it in his eyes, and he started running around, screaming like a girl, and accidentally fell down into the tracks where the train hits him. But we all know that's not true. And all joking aside, the detective isn't wrong here. As you'll see in this movie, there is a pattern to these so-called murders. Next, we cut to our main villain of this movie, the one who's behind the murderous website FearDotCom. We see him doing something with his papers and preparing some sort of live show for his website. And apparently a lot of people started subscribing to the live show the moment he started it, or at least preparing it.
Now all we need is the leading lady.
Gee, that must be some pretty good content on what the website has to offer. But I must wonder, what kind of content does it have to offer? The movie never really explains what the whole website is about, aside from two things that it reminds us over and over again. One, the website shows a live stream of the villain of the movie, whose name is Alistair by the way, torturing some innocent woman for God knows how long. And the other thing that the movie reminds us is the fact that the FearDotCom website is connected to all these murders that have been going around left and right, and is exactly the same thing that the police have been investigating for what seemed like months. Okay, I know I'm skipping ahead here, but really, doesn't the whole story sound like a bad idea for a movie? Think about it. It's a website that kills people that log into it. And the protagonist of the story is a detective trying to uncover the mystery behind these murders and figuring out what caused them. Even though the answer is clearly obvious that the killer website is behind these murders. Didn't anyone notice this huge problem just by the story alone? The whole movie's built around like some sort of detective horror film, and really, the idea of a killer website really doesn't work for this type of story. There's no mystery if we know what's causing the problem to begin with. And as far as the idea of a killer website goes, it's actually pretty interesting, and it could have worked if it was given on the right story. But no. Not only was the idea poorly executed, but the whole story of FearDotCom is actually a complete ripoff of a certain horror movie that came out before FearDotCom. And we're gonna find out what it is later on. So in the meantime, try to figure out what movie it's ripping off exactly. Moving on, Detective Mike Riley is reading a few couple letters made by Alistair, whose alias, by the way, is the brilliantly named The Doctor. At least come up with a more intimidating name if you're going to be a mysterious serial killer. Well then again, this is the same guy who named his website FearDotCom, so you're not going to expect much originality off of him. Moving on, we get to see this crazy German kid yelling about something while he's getting arrested for... I don't know, what is he responsible for? Nah, that can't be him. Anyways, Mike Riley then decides to go check out his apartment to see what's happening. And he finds the German kid's dead girlfriend in the pool. I'm no police officer and I've never seen a dead body up close before, but common sense would tell you that it's not a good idea to touch a dead corpse without wearing any gloves.
I wouldn't touch her just yet.
Jesus. See, even she knows it's a bad idea. I think I'm starting to see why this guy hasn't solved the FearDotCom case yet. After doing a little bit of investigating in the crime scene, Detective Riley gets a call from someone saying that the angry German kid earlier on in this movie died at the police station. Somehow.
Get back here and bring the DOH with you.
Do you have a plastic bag?
That's evidence.
Yeah.
What kind of police detective are you? And I love how Little Miss I'm part of the Department of Health lady is carrying a camera without wearing any gloves. You don't even know where it's been, you stupid whore! Meanwhile, we see Alistair stalking some random chick. And stalking. And stalking. And stalking. Doesn't he have a live show he should be working on right now?
I'm sorry. I'm being inconsiderate.
Oh my god, this is awkward.
I'm doing a little film at the Wilton Theater and... You know, I can't say this without it sounding like a line, but...
Stop. Stop. Okay, life advice. If anyone in public speaks to you like that holding a camera, get the fuck out of there.
Well, I was filming you because you happen to be the perfect leading lady.
Do you mean that?
Lady, aren't you the least bit worried that this guy could be a pervert and wants to get down on you?
I can't promise anything, but... Why don't you come by the theater tonight? I'll put you in front of the camera, see what happens.
Okay, either Alistair is the most charming man in the world that he could make an awkward situation look cute and innocent, or the chick has no care in the world whatsoever. Back to our heroes. Mike Riley and Terry Houston are both watching footage off the camera they found on the crime scene, and what they saw is just these two Germans doing daily activities of their lives. Could that be considered the 2002 equivalent of a selfie? But hey, I could be wrong about that. But anyways, later on in the footage, they see these two German kids logging onto the FearDotCom website. Obviously, right? What else? After they logged in, things get worse for these two. The guy goes nuts, the chick gets a boo-boo, the guy's like, don't worry, I'll take care of the boo-boo. He leaves, and the chick dies in the bathtub while recording herself. You know, I would complain by saying who the hell records themselves taking a shower besides porn stars, but I can at least tell you I know one person that texts while taking a shower. Don't ask. And I might as well get the clue out of the way because there's no mystery and the clue is plain obvious. Whoever logs in to the FearDotCom website dies about 48 hours after they're logged in. That's the clue. And you would have thought the detective would have caught on to that little detail by now, since this investigation has been going on for like, what, months? Oh my god, this guy's a horrible detective. By the way, remember that careless woman that talked to Alistair earlier on in the movie? Well, she buys into his little bullshit story and decides to attend, I guess.
Hello?
What the hell do you think this is, lady? A welcome meeting? And oh my god, what a surprise! She got kidnapped, and is that Rammstein playing? Because nothing screams horror like playing music off a loud German metal band. Okay, at this point, I'm going to skip a lot of things that happen in this movie because not only is it really bad, but it's so boring that it actually drained out my energy to continue writing on the script and discuss this movie into greater detail. I'm not joking. With that being said, I still want to show you a couple of dumb moments that happen in this movie. This scene is one of them. This guy that you see right here logged onto the FearDotCom website, and as I've stated earlier, people die within 48 hours when they log into the website. Now with that being said, I want you to watch this scene and see if you can point out the problem here.
It sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow.
Them kids and them AOLs and them cell phones, they don't know what they're missing. Fuck them. They can't seem to be doing marijuana here anyway. This is some good shit right here. Right? What the hell? It's a little girl. Doesn't she know this place is bad for her to play? It doesn't matter. I don't want to be a bad example. Let me take out the cigarette. Okay, let me just... she's gone. The cigarette's back in my mouth. I don't want to be a bad example. I can't show her that I'm... Oh, fuck, but it's so good. I just want to get hot. I'm nervous. The pressure is killing me. I want to go home now. I feel like I failed in life. I've never got laid. I've never graduated in high school. I've never even moved out of my parents' house. Oh my god, I feel so bad right now. I can't take this anymore. I want to go home. I have this nasty habit of having cigarettes coming out of my mouth out of nowhere. And there it is again. God damn it.
I wanna be high.
In case you haven't noticed the flaw, in which case you must be blind as a bat, the major problem with the scene is the continuity of the cigarette. And what is up with this guy's deal with the fucking cigarette? Is he gonna smoke or not? But anyways, enough about that problem. Let's discuss about the live show. And I still don't know how anyone that worked on this movie not noticed this huge gaping plot hole. Because the live show is such a huge fucking obvious clue, it should have ended the case immediately. Ended the movie right there. Because the live show is nothing more but a podcast of this Alistair guy torturing an innocent woman he kidnapped. And here's the bullshit thing. During the live show, he tortures the innocent woman while talking about life and death in his own voice and showing his face on camera. Live.
We will provide a lesson that reducing relationships to anonymous electronic impulses is a perversion.
There are a lot of problems with this. The police have been investigating these murders for some time, and all the clues point out that it was the killer website behind it. Didn't the police officers found out or got the idea that it was the killer website behind these murders? Now granted, that sounds kind of stupid in real life to assume that a website did the work, but all the clues point out that it is the case, that it is true. Plus, they've done some investigation work on the victims that died. Didn't they ever do research on the victims, what they've done before their deaths? I mean, clearly, at some point, they've logged into the website, pointing out that it is the website that killed the victims. Like, they never connected the dots on that little fact. It only took footage from some camera owned by a German kid to get the clue.
48 hours.
Plus, no one in the live stream has ever thought to call the police to inform them about a random girl getting tortured by the doctor. Even if we were to assume that all of the people that watch the live stream are sick, twisted people that do keep their word to never tell anyone about the doctor torturing the woman, there could have been at least one person who knows the horrible secret about a killer website and could have called the cops about this. And even then, didn't the officers ever thought to go undercover to pretend like there's some sort of sick, twisted guy that loves to enjoy watching pain and see what kind of crazy shit the website has to offer? Okay, I could go on forever about this, but the bottom line is, at least one sensible person who is against this FearDotCom bullshit would have at least known what the doctor looks like. I mean, he's right there. No mask, no voice changer, in plain sight, with thousands of people watching. Not one person in the entire world has ever caught on to this clue. Not one person? Not to mention, Alistair does go outside in public when he needs a girl that he can use for his live torture show without a disguise. Holy shit, this is the worst detective story I have ever seen in the history of my life. Seriously, imagine if you showed this movie to the greatest detectives in fiction. Sherlock Holmes would have had the case wrapped up in about 3 days, if not less. Elle from Death Note would be laughing so hard of how clueless these people are. Even Batman would facepalm and discuss on how fucking stupid these people are. The clue is so obvious, even a little kid could figure this shit out. This is fucking ridiculous! I could stop the review right now, but there are still some things I need to show you, and I haven't even told you what movie it's ripping off exactly. Seriously, almost every scene in this movie feels like it drags on for so long, and they're just too boring for me to sit through. In fact, one time, I fell asleep in a certain scene. It's that boring. Hell, I would even go so far as to say that the scenes are even worse than Battlefield Earth. Yes, I said it. At least Battlefield Earth had a couple of scenes that you could laugh at. FearDotCom takes itself way too seriously that there is no fun to be had. I know it's a horror movie, but geez, lighten up a bit, will ya? Skipping a few things that happened in this movie, we get to the scene where Mike and Terry are investigating another victim that died from the website. And it's been established that the website has some sort of power that can make victims kill themselves, and some sort of ghost or whatever is killing them left and right. It's never exactly consistent. But one thing's for sure, the old guy that you saw earlier on in the movie didn't kill himself on purpose. Now with that being said, I love this line right here. Listen to what Terry says to Mike.
Can you promise me one thing? That you won't visit that site?
Place your bets, everyone. Oh my! I totally didn't see that coming!
Do you like to watch?
Lady, this guy's a police detective. He has no time to waste on porn and torture.
Do you want to see more?
You sick bastard.
Do you want to hurt me? Like?
Okay, let me make this short. The chick in the website is basically telling Mike Riley to play the game. The game is just for him to find a dead corpse within 48 hours, and if he loses, he'll die, and if he wins, well, the case is closed, I guess. By the way, I want you to watch what happens after he logs into the website, because, well, you're gonna see something familiar about this part that I'm about to play right now. Yeah, that looks familiar. And oh my god. You know, at this point I feel like this review dragged on way too long. Ironic, because that's exactly how I feel while I watched FearDotCom. Anyways, skipping a lot of things here, Terry Houston eventually did log on to the website. And you know what the funny thing is?
You don't go there, all right? Promise me. Tell me you won't go there. Don't go there. Promise me you won't go there.
And oh boy, what a surprise! She logs on to the website. I guess it really doesn't matter because Jack Riley already failed to keep his promise with Terry, so what you gonna do? Skipping a lot of things here, Terry soon discovers that the chick from the website, his name is Jeannie, and she eventually finds the mother who is there to give out a little backstory on Jeannie. This scene right here does serve its purpose and it does further the story, but there's this one line that really boggles my mind. Just listen.
Jean Marie was a hemophiliac. Without her medication, she could bleed to death from just a scratch.
Wait for it.
It's the old Polzig steel mill about 2 miles down the road. Jeannie used to play there as a child.
If that's the case, why the fuck would you let your daughter play in an abandoned steel mill? Isn't that like letting a crippled kid play in a swimming pool? Once again, skipping ahead here, Terry eventually finds the corpse of Jeannie and she thought that would be the end of it. But it isn't. That kind of sounds familiar now, doesn't it? But anyways, after doing some investigation work and a ton of research, they finally find the location of the Doctor's hideout, putting an end to his horrific live show. And finally, it's time for the climax to begin. It's an epic showdown between a clueless police detective, a dumb health inspector, and for some reason, some guy named Sykes to help them out, going up against an evil doctor who should have been arrested by the cops a long time ago. Sykes apparently made it to the hideout earlier than these two because look what happens.
The cavalry's right there.
Oh my god!
The doctor already killed Sykes before these two even had a chance to apprehend him. I don't know whether to call this frightening or just plain pathetic.
Guns are so impersonal and artless.
I guess this guy has peculiar taste because he would rather slowly kill his victims rather than just shooting someone in the head. I guess what he said earlier means nothing now because he just shot Mike Riley in the chest. What a nice way to keep your priorities straight, Doctor. While these two are having a quote epic unquote struggle, Mike Riley has a brilliant idea to finish off the Doctor.
Alistair! Alistair!
For as boring as this movie is, the only highlight I can say that this movie has is that Alistair's death is actually quite satisfying. Anyways, to wrap things up, Alistair dies, same with Mike Riley. We cut to Terry Houston at her house again. She gets a phone call and nobody's there. I guess this is supposed to be a setup to a sequel, but we all know that'll never happen. So, there you have it. Before I give out my final thoughts, let's quickly recap certain things that happen in a movie and find out what movie it's ripping off. Killer website. Creepy girl that scares people. You log into the website, and you have 48 hours before you die. The protagonists play along with a game and try to figure out what's going on and what's causing these murders. As the protagonists do research, they soon discover that the little girl is actually the same girl from the killer website that's killing people. They find her dead corpse thinking it would end the game, but it didn't. And what they had to do was kill the real murderer behind the little girl's death and stop the whole madness once and for all. Now, where have I heard that one before? That's right, folks. It's a complete ripoff of The Ring. Hell, it even goes so far as to do that same creepy video compilation thing like The Ring does. You know, this video compilation. What a shameless ripoff. So that was FearDotCom. And it's pretty fucking boring. I'm serious, this is one of the most boring movies I have ever seen in my lifetime. And not to mention, it's not that fucking scary. It just keeps going and going and it makes you wish that the whole movie would be over already. And every attempt of a scare fall flat on its faces. The acting is crappy, the story makes no sense, the suspense isn't even that suspenseful, and the whole movie just feels completely lifeless. The sets look okay, but the lack of color is what ruins it. And once again, it's a complete ripoff of The Ring. A very bad one at that. Overall, it's just a complete snooze fest. I guess if you need something to put you to sleep, this movie's for you. Just don't watch it as a genuine horror movie because it's not worth it. I give it 1 star. Thank you for watching this review. I'm the Jim of 99, and I'll see you all in hell.
I'd like to say I can feel your pain, but I can't. I can't feel anything. I've been deprived of that somehow.